So in the previous class, we have discussed up till the parenchyma, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today we'll be talking about the collenchyma. Now this is again the simple permanent tissue which has only one type of cells. This is again another example, that is collenchyma. Now see, in the collenchyma there are all living cells present. All of them have elongated cells. Okay, and these cells are irregularly thickened, meaning it has thickening at the corners irregularly, meaning it is not a regular thickening present there. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just one second. Okay, yes. So I said that the cells, they are irregularly thickened at the corners and there is very little intercellular spaces. It means that the space in between each of the cells is very little. So we can say that the cells are situated very close to each other, isn't it? Yes. So with this, the collenchyma is over. Now we'll be talking about the sclerenchyma. Now see, Galvin, all the other students in the class, they have already done like this chapter with me, okay? So this is a special class for you only. So if there is any doubt or if there is any way you're not understanding anything, you ask me, okay, Galvin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And be responsive in the class. At least say yes, no, wherever needed.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Hmm. So talking about the sclerenchyma. So see, sclerenchyma, now we saw that the parenchyma was living. We saw that the collenchyma was living. But the sclerenchyma, here the cells are dead. By dead, I mean that no protoplasm is there in the cell. Okay? So
Okay.
all the cells are dead in the case of sclerenchyma. Now, with the help of this sclerenchyma, it makes the plant stiff, rigid, and hard. Okay?
Okay.
Yes. Now let's just wait. There is another student that she has to join. Let's just wait for her, okay? Because this class is actually for her too. So let's just
Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Arya. What happened? Why are you late?
Ma'am, I did not get any message that I'm gonna have bio class.
Okay, okay. All right. So I was like, see, we dealt up with the parenchyma part, which was a simple permanent tissue. And now I have explained the collenchyma. And in the collenchyma, there is the presence of living cells. And all the cells, they are elongated. And if they are living, it means that the protoplasm is present. Now, the cells of the collenchyma, they have like irregular thickenings at the corner. Okay, so they are thickened, they have thick structures at the corner of the cell, and they have very little intercellular space. So it means that the space between the cells, between the different cells, it's very little. So that is about the collenchyma. Now let us talk about the sclerenchyma. So see, sclerenchyma is another example for the simple permanent tissue. Okay. Now see, we saw that the parenchyma was living tissue. We saw that the collenchyma was living too. But talking about the sclerenchyma, this sclerenchyma is actually dead. Okay, the cells are dead, and by dead, I mean that there is the presence of no protoplast at all. And these sclerenchyma, they make the plant stiff or rigid, and they make the plant hard. And here there are no intracellular spaces, nothing, no intercellular spaces are there. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Now let us talk about the epidermis and what it is. Okay, so see, epidermis is, you can say, any outer layer of the cell, any outer, meaning the outermost layer. That is known as the epidermis. Okay, meaning whether it is in the case of plant or anywhere, the outermost layer would be called as the epidermis. Okay, and this epidermis, it will be made up of a single layer of cells. Okay, now
Okay.
whenever we talk about all those plants, now see, epidermis, since it is the outermost layer, it will be protective in function, isn't it? It will be
Yes.
protective, right?
Yeah.
And it is made up of a single layer of cell. Now, the epidermis of all those plants that live in the dry habitat, for example, the desert plants or anything, so any plant that lives in a dry habitat, so the epidermis of those plants is very thick. It is usually very thick. Okay, and why it is thick? It is thick first of all to protect the plant, and from what? So protect the plant from water loss. Okay, because water is lost from the surface of the plant. So this epidermis, it protects the plant so that water cannot be lost from. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. It's clear.
It's clear to Arya and Galvin too?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now see, the aerial parts, meaning all those parts of the plant that are above the ground, okay, they secrete a waxy layer on top of the epidermis, and this waxy layer, it provides the epidermis to be waterproof. It makes the epidermis waterproof. Okay, this is again done so that the plants can be protected. Now, protected from what? So they can be protected from water loss, they can be protected from mechanical injury, and also from all sorts of parasitic fungi, meaning all sorts of parasites that can harm them. So this waxy layer is present on the epidermis, and the outermost layer of the cell is known as the epidermis. Is this much clear?
Yes, ma'am. It's clear.
Now see, the cells of the epidermis, they are flat. Okay, flat cells are present, and the outer and the side wall, the outer and the side wall of the cell, they are thicker. Okay, they are thick, but the inner wall is thin. Okay, that is how they are made. Okay, the outer and the side walls are thicker, whereas the inner walls are thinner. Okay, now this was the epidermis in general. But now if we are talking about the epidermis of the leaf, which is the outermost layer of the leaf, so it would have tiny pores that are known as the stomata. Okay, tiny pores will be there, which will be called as the stomata. Now see, okay, first you note it down up till here, and then we'll talk about how the stomata is arranged, what are the things involved. Okay, and once you're done, you tell me so that I can scroll the screen for you. Shall I scroll? Are you people noting it down? Arya and Galvin?
Yes,
Yes,
mom.
ma'am.
Shall I scroll?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you done?
Yes, mom.
Okay. Inform me when you're done, okay? Then I'll just scroll or start the next topic. Done?
Almost, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now see, if we are talking about the epidermis of the leaf, okay, the outermost layer of the leaf, so that will have tiny pore-like structures present, and those will be known as or called as the stomata. Okay, and these stomata have guard cells surrounding them. Okay, guard cells are present around the stomata. Now, what is the function of these guard cells? So, they are very important for the exchange of gases. Okay, and apart from the exchange of gases, there is a process that is known as transpiration. Okay, transpiration, it takes place through the stomata only. Okay, now talking about this transpiration, let us see what it is. So when water is lost through the stomata, or you can say water is lost from the plant in the form of water vapor. Okay, then this whole process is known as transpiration. Okay, or you can also call transpiration as the evaporatory loss of water from the stomata. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now this was the epidermis of the leaf. Now let us talk about the epidermis of the root. So again, the outermost part of the root will be known as the epidermis of the root. So what is the function of epidermis of the root? It is to absorb the water. Okay. Now see, the roots have many root hairs present on them that are responsible for the increase in the surface area for absorption. What is the function of root hair? The function is to increase the surface area for absorption. Okay. Now, talking about the plants of the desert area, meaning the dry desert area. So these plants, they have a waxy coating which is known as cutin. Okay, waxy coating of cutin. That is actually a chemical substance which is waterproof in nature. Okay, and what this coating will do? Can you tell me, Arya or Galvin? Can you tell me what is the function of this coating, extra coating?
Uh,
Yes, what will be the
To
function?
protect that,
Yes, to protect it from
Maybe water going in it.
Water loss, actually. Okay, it
Oh, okay.
protects from water loss.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, the bark of the tree. Do you people know what a bark of the tree is?
What, mom?
The bark of the tree?
Yes, mom.
Yes. So that woody part of the tree, it has cork cells. Okay, the cells of the woody part, which is the bark. So that part has some cells that are known as cork cells. Okay, these cells are dead and these are the permanent tissues since they are the dead cells. Okay. Now, even in the bark also, there is a layer which is known as suberin, or a layer of suberin is present on the bark. Again, this suberin is waterproof or water resistant, so because of which no water loss can take place, and this is responsible for the protection of plant or protection of the tree's bark. Is it clear up till now?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Okay, now let us talk about the next type of tissues. Now, up till now, when we saw the epidermis and everything, we have discussed the simple permanent tissues, wherein only one type of cells are present. Now, we will be discussing about the complex permanent tissues. Now, here, different type of cells will be present, and the example, the best two examples of complex permanent tissues are xylem and phloem. Okay, and these xylem and phloem, both of them together, they are known as vascular tissues or conducting tissues. Why? Because they conduct stuff. Let us see how. So if we are talking about the xylem, so the xylem is responsible for the transportation or conduction of water and minerals from the roots to the different parts of the plant. Talking about the phloem. So phloem is responsible to transport the food from the leaves to the different part. So phloem is responsible for the transfer of food. Xylem is responsible for the transfer of water. Is it clear? Hmm?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. Now you can note it down. Are people done noting it down?
Yes, ma'am.
Done?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
What about Galvin? Galvin, are you done also?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Done.
Okay. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So talking about the xylem, so the xylem has certain components associated with it. So there are four components of the xylem. The first one is the tracheids, then there is the vessels, okay, then there is the xylem parenchyma, and ultimately there is the xylem fibers. So talking about the tracheids and the vessels, so both of them they have thick walls present. Okay. And at maturity, they are dead cells. When they mature, then they are dead. Okay. These are tubular structures and they allow the transportation of water in a vertical direction, either upwards. Okay. Like from the roots to the different parts. So it allows the transportation of water in a vertical direction. Okay. Now talking about the xylem parenchyma, it is responsible for the storage of food. Okay. Xylem parenchyma is responsible for the storage of food. Now talking about the xylem fibers, so it is supportive in function. Okay, it supports the other components. Okay, so these are the following four components of the xylem. Is this clear to everyone?
Ma'am, can you repeat once again?
Yes, see the xylem, it has four components. First is the tracheids, then there are vessels, then there are xylem parenchyma, and finally we have the xylem fibers. Now talking about the tracheids and the vessels, both of them are thick walled. At maturity, they are dead cells. Okay. Now tubular structures, they are tube-like structures, and they allow the transportation of water in a vertical direction, meaning from the roots to the different parts of the plant. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, and if we talk about the xylem parenchyma, so they are responsible for the storage of food, and xylem fibers, they are supportive in function. These are the functions of each and every component of the xylem. Now, coming to the phloem. So the phloem consists of five types of cells. The first one is the sieve cell, then there is the sieve tubes, then there is companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. Now see, these sieve cells and sieve tubes, these are tubular structures and they have perforation in their walls. It means that if this is the wall of the cell, okay, of the sieve cell or sieve tube, it has many holes present. Okay, perforated it is. Okay, and why it conducts the organic food substances, and both of these are living tissues. Okay, they are living, meaning protoplasm is present. Now talking about the companion cells, what is the function of companion cells? So the companion cells, they support the sieve tubes for the transport of food. Okay, there they have a supporting function and they are living, means protoplasm is present. Now talking about the phloem parenchyma, so they store food and they are also living tissues. Then comes the phloem fibers. Now they are supportive in function, but they are dead. It means that they do not have any protoplasm present. Okay. So with this, your complex permanent tissues is over. Now you can note it down and tell me when you're done so that I can scroll. Now, do you have any doubts, Arya and Galvin?
No, ma'am.
Is this whole thing
No
clear to
worries.
you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now you can note it down and tell me when you're done. Done?
Almost, mom.
Oh.
Done, mom.
The fluent part is also done.
Oh no.
That's what I'm saying. I just scrolled it for you.
Yeah, only the up part was done.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Okay, good. It's okay. You can note it down, and that is it for today's class. Okay, and then in the next class, we'll be starting with epithelial tissue. Okay, so once you're done, you tell me.
Okay.
Yes, mom.
Nothing there. I like by mistakenly. I
Oh, okay.